seat of American power, Washington, D.C.
Alexandria has a colonial history from 1749 when it was created, and it was actually originally part of the District of
Michael
Columbia.
Pop.
It's now part of the metropolitan Washington area, which includes Washington, D.C., Arlington, Virginia, and parts of Maryland and West Virginia. It's the best educated and highest income metropolitan area in America.
The crime rate in Alexandria is typically very low, so much so that the neighbors don't feel the need to lock their doors.
And the neighborhood where Ron Kirby lives is no different. It's November 11th, 2013. Veterans Day. 69-year-old Ron Kirby calls for a plumber to come and fix his kitchen sink.
There was a leak underneath his sink that he tried to fix. He was unable to fix it, so he got a plumber to come to the house. He was kind of waiting for the plumber to arrive.
Ron's supposed to go for lunch with his. He can take care of this plumbing job on the way, and then they can spend some time together.
Right around the time the plumber is supposed to arrive, between 11:30 and noon, Ron answers the door.
There's a knock at the door, and Ronald Kirby opens up the door, and then there's this person standing with the gun, shoots him right there in the entrance to his house. The murderer follows him into the house, fires more rounds into Ron Kirby. After having been shot multiple times, Ron Kirby, of course, dies on the scene, and the murderer flees.
Expecting to take his father out for lunch, Ron Kirby's son, Joe, arrives at home around 12:30. Joe calls police to the Kirby residence. When police arrive, they discover Joe covered in blood and Ron dead on his living room floor.
Ron has been shot 3 times, twice in the chest and once in the hip.
But 2 other shots were fired that missed him. So a total of 5 shots were fired.
Police find 2 more bullet holes in the living room. One is in a piano, another on a radiator.
At this point, police know the shooter has fired at least 5 shots. Who is Ron Kirby, and who would want to kill him like this?
While investigators conduct ballistics testing, they delve into the life of civil servant Ronald Kirby.
Ron Kirby was a director of transportation planning for the Council of Governments, a nonprofit organization.
The Metro Washington Council of Governments represents 24 local governments in the region, working in collaboration to improve the ever-expanding metropolitan Washington area with a population of over 6 million.
He played a very key role in the planning for the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, which connects Maryland to D.C. as part of the Beltway that runs out around Washington, D.C.
It's a huge achievement, a major piece of infrastructure that connects all of the nation's capital, and Ron had a leadership role in getting it done.
Born in Australia, Ron earns a PhD in applied mathematics in 1970 from the University of Adelaide. He adopts 2 children with his first wife. Kirby divorces in 2001 and remarries in 2012, less than 2 years before he's shot to death.
Ron is considered to be a brilliant intellectual, and at 69, he has no intention of retiring. He sees himself as a community leader, and he says, what am I going to do, sit around and read books?
Why would a complete stranger come to Ron Kirby's house and shoot him? It seems much more likely to police that Ron's killer is known to him. Did Ron Kirby's adopted son, Joe, have a reason to murder his father?
Whenever there's a violent crime, police are always going to look at the family first. When it comes to a crime like this, where Ron Kirby has been shot 5 times, it seems personal.
When police arrive, they find Joe covered in blood next to his dad's body. He's now covered in blood from performing CPR on his dying father. While police focus on possible motives for Joe Kirby to murder his adoptive father, investigators look to the ballistics evidence in the home for clues. Police note that there are no spent shell casings at the scene.
Immediately, when no cartridge cases are found at the scene, the thought is that possibly a revolver was involved as opposed to a semi-automatic pistol or rifle.
Police know that 5 shots in total were fired. 3 hit Ron and 2 missed.
3 bullets were recovered at autopsy that I examined in the laboratory, and I found them to be plain lead, hollow point, .22 caliber bullets. These are all consistent with a line of ammunition called subsonic, slower velocity bullet, designed to make less noise.
Forensic scientists can obtain a surprising amount of information from a bullet.
Every weapon leaves a distinct marking on the bullet it fires. It will leave ridges, known as lands and grooves, in a certain number and twisting in a certain way. Those lands and grooves create an identifying fingerprint that can be used to connect bullet to murder weapon.
The characteristics on the bullets were 8 lands and grooves with a right twist.
By using the 22 subsonic bullet's unique lands and grooves pattern, the ballistic expert can guide police to the gun that fired it.
I gave the police officers a list of possible firearms, which included the North American Arms mini revolver, which is a 5-shot revolver.
It's odd to use a mini revolver as a murder weapon.
Less than 3 inches long and weighing 5 ounces, a 5-shot mini revolver can fire .22 caliber long rifle hollow point subsonic rounds.
Anyone who uses subsonic hollow point bullets knows that they'll have to shoot their victim multiple times since the ammunition isn't that powerful. And if they were using a mini revolver, doubly true.
Forensic experts make a startling connection, possibly linking the unusual type of bullet to another murder.
The same type of ammunition was used in the Ronald Kirby homicide as was used in the Nancy Dunning 10 years earlier.
This was like a parlor game. Everybody had their own theory about what happened to Nancy Dunning and how this murder could have possibly happened.
What are the odds you've got the subsonic, unusual, hollow point, .22 caliber long-range rifle ammo coming out of a mini revolver 10 years earlier and only a mile apart?
10 years earlier, just 1 mile from the Kirby residence in the affluent Delray neighborhood of Alexandria, Nancy Dunning receives a knock on her door.
Now, it had been 10 solid years since the murder of Nancy Dunning. So the idea that the murder of Ronald Kirby might be in some way related to Nancy Dunning actually did seem kind of remote at the time.
2 houses a mile apart, the same ammunition, both in broad daylight. Did a serial killer come out of hibernation? Police have to find this killer before they strike again.
The police usually look at their spouses. Usually, if a person is murdered is killed by somebody they know.
She happened to be the wife of the sheriff in Alexandria.
Did the suspect wear gloves, or did the supposedly law and order sheriff murder his own wife?
Attention all Medicare recipients. The Medicare annual enrollment period is here. You may be eligible for 2025 benefits with a Medicare Advantage plan, also known as Medicare Part C. Original Medicare only covers Parts A, hospital coverage, and B, doctor visits. But Medicare Advantage covers everything in Medicare Parts A, B, and may include Part D prescription drug benefits. Our licensed insurance agents can check if you're eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan with additional benefits available in your area at no cost to you. Plans change every year, so even if you called before, you may be eligible for a plan with additional benefits. Call 800-964-5215 to speak to a licensed insurance agent and find out your Medicare Advantage options. You may be one of the many individuals missing additional benefits that are not available in Medicare Parts A and B, but only found in Medicare Advantage. You don't get these 2025 benefits automatically. For your free, no-obligation review, just call the number on your screen now. Call 800-964-5215. That's 800-964-5215. The Medicare annual enrollment period is here. Call now during the Medicare annual enrollment period to learn about 2025 Medicare Advantage benefits. You may be eligible for 2025 benefits with a Medicare Advantage plan, also known as Medicare Part C. Original Medicare only covers Parts A, hospital coverage, and Part B, doctor visits. But Medicare Advantage covers everything in Medicare Parts A, B, and may include Part D prescription drug benefits. You don't get these 2025 benefits automatically. For your free, no obligation review, just call the number on your screen now. Call 800-964-5215. That's 800-964-5215.
They are trying to shut down this legal loophole to get 100 milligram generic Viagra or 20 milligram generic Cialis delivered to your door for just 87 cents in less than 2 minutes. Do this. First, scan the QR code to go to getfridayplans.com. Then, you select if you need generic Viagra or Cialis, the quantity you need, and the dosage. I'll pick 100 milligram, thank you very much, and then their system will see if you qualify. Give it a second to find the best deals, and boom. Look at that. 87 cents for each 100 milligram generic Viagra tablet. 20 milligram Cialis is the same price. The prescription and shipping are free. Scan the QR code to go to getfridayplans.com and see for yourself. Don't wait. Scan the QR code or go to getfridayplans.com now.
At Humana, we believe your health care should evolve with you, and part of that evolution means choosing the right Medicare plan for you. Humana can help. Hi, my name is Sam Davis, and I'm going to tell you about Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans that can provide more coverage than original Medicare, including prescription drug coverage, all wrapped up into one convenient plan. With original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits, but you have to meet a deductible for each, and then you're still responsible for 20% of the cost. Next, let's look at Medicare supplement plans. If a service is covered under original Medicare, then a Medicare supplement plan pays for some or all of your Medicare deductibles and the 20% co-insurance, but they may have higher monthly premiums and no prescription drug coverage. Humana Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans include medical coverage, plus prescription drug coverage, with $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions. Most plans include $0 copays for covered preventive dental services, vision coverage that includes vision exams and a yearly allowance toward eyewear, even hearing benefits that include routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. You can get $0 copays for in-network preventive services and $0 copays for routine vaccines. And there's worldwide coverage for emergency and urgent care when you travel. Plus, Humana also offers Medicare Advantage plans. Plans have $0 or low monthly plan premiums, and there's a cap on your out-of-pocket costs. So call or go online today to see if there's a Humana plan in your area and to get our free decision guide. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends on December 7th, so call now. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
November 11th, 2013, an affluent neighborhood of Alexandria, Virginia. Civil servant Ron Kirby is murdered at his front door. A total of 5 shots are fired. Ballistics experts linked the ammunition to a murder 10 years earlier and only 1 mile away. December 5th, 2003. When Nancy doesn't show up for a lunch with husband Jim and son Chris, they go back home to check in.
I think it was like 11:30 that day. She was a no-show, and she was very punctual. This is not someone that you would expect to be late, so they knew that immediately something was wrong.
The front door is left open. What the husband and son discover inside is documented in a chilling 911 call.
I'll send you police 911. I need help now. What's wrong? What? What's wrong? Oh my God, Dad! Something's on the phone! Oh my God! No. Yes. What's wrong? Somebody came and attacked my mother or something. I don't know. Is your mother breathing? No, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, what do you see? I see blood. She's been cut or something. Okay, cut where? I don't know.
They're obviously distraught about the situation, and it was, lots of blood. It was everywhere.
My wife has been murdered. She's been murdered? Yes. She's lying in a pool of blood by about a few stairs near the front door. Okay, can you tell us who's breathing? No, she's not. She has no pulse. Okay, the police are on the way, okay?
And no one knew, why anyone would want to kill Nancy Dunning. She didn't have any enemies, really, that anybody knew about. She was known as the Queen of Del Rey. Del Rey is a very bucolic neighborhood here in Alexandria, and she was an extremely prominent real estate agent and kind of transformed Del Rey into what it is now.
The morning of December 5th, 2003, Nancy goes shopping for Christmas gifts before a planned lunch with Jim and Chris. She drops the items off at home when she hears a knock at the door. Nancy Dunning is shot in the chest, arm, and ear.
Nancy Dunning had been shot 3 times. The bullets were unusual in that I had never seen them in the laboratory before in my entire career. They were plain lead hollow point bullets made by Remington. So a similar type of ammunition that was used in the Ronald Kirby homicide and the Nancy Dunning homicide.
In terms of evidence, it's not like there were fingerprints or DNA or anything like that. The real chief bit of evidence was the ammunition, the rounds that were found.
Detectives also find a receipt in a bag from Nancy's shopping trip that morning.
She was doing some shopping to get sort of Christmas gifts for this charity that she was involved in. No one knew, why anyone would want to kill Nancy Dunning. She was extremely popular, well-loved person. She also happened to be the wife of the sheriff in Alexandria, Jim Dunning, who was an elected sheriff.
Whenever somebody is murdered, police usually look at their spouses very closely because usually the person who's murdered is killed by somebody they know.
There are no fingerprints or DNA evidence that would suggest a stranger was there. Did the suspect wear gloves when he knocked on the door? Or did the supposedly law and order sheriff murder his own wife?
Here in Alexandria, rumors were just swirling about the possibility that he might have either done it or been involved in hiring a hitman to do it. People were very frightened and people were very upset and people had a very high anxiety for years and years and years.
Sheriff Jim Dunning is interviewed by police, but he has a clear alibi and no motive can be found. Jim is quickly cleared by police, but in the public eye, rumors continue to swirl.
The fact that it was unsolved for so long led to all kinds of rumors and speculation. Then it just dragged on for years and years and years as an unsolved mystery.
This would all change 10 years later when Ron Kirby is shot at his front door in the middle of the day.
I was able to identify some of the bullets together in the Ronald Kirby homicide, but when I cross-compared them to the Nancy Dunning homicide, I could not associate them. They had similar class characteristics, the number of lands and grooves and the direction of twist, the width of the lands and groove impressions, but the microscopic markings were different, which would mean either a different firearm of similar nature was used or a dramatic change had happened to the interior of the barrel of the firearm between these 2 homicides.
This would completely befuddle investigators. The bullets are so unusual, and yet they come from different guns.
They did not have DNA evidence. They did not have fingerprint evidence. All the circumstantial evidence they had was the forensic evidence here.
Desperate for any clues that could help solve the 2 murders, Alexandria police issue a public appeal for information, using the 10th anniversary of Nancy's murder as a reason.
It's been 10 years since the death of Sheriff Dunning's wife, Nancy Dunning, and it's significant to us because we continue after 10 years to work to try and resolve and get an arrest on this case.
When reporters ask if the 2 murders might be connected, The police chief denies it, but doesn't close the door.
There are some eerie similarities. The area, the time of the year, no forced entry into the home, that kind of thing.
My detectives have looked at that. It was natural to look at any type of parallel issues associated with the cases. Where some exist, we have no reason today to think that those two cases are connected.
When the death of Ron Kirby happened, there weren't really a lot of people that were making the connection with the murder of Nancy Dunning, although it didn't seem suspicious to some people that it happened right in the middle of the day. It was a knock at the door, unsolved mystery. It actually did raise some suspicions.
We did indeed look at that, but we don't close the door on those possibilities. The Kirby death investigation is fairly fresh for what we just had. That tragedy just occurred. We're working diligently around the clock with my investigators on that right now.
Now the chief has sent a clear message. If there is a link, if there is a serial killer that's become active in Alexandria, they are looking at it. But can they catch the killer before there's another victim?
I hope someone who hears this message will rethink their role in this investigation, whether it be a witness, certainly if somebody had a role in the actual murder itself.
It's almost exactly 10 years between the first murder and the second.
Most people did not make that connection between the murder of Nancy Dunning and the murder of Ronald Kirby. It wasn't until the third murder that people started putting those pieces together.
It will take only weeks before the killer strikes a third time, less than a mile away from the other two shootings.
This time, things don't go as expected for the killer.
Homeowners, when your water or sewer line breaks, it's expensive and often not covered by basic homeowners insurance.
You could pay thousands.
Finding a good contractor can be tough.
What, this guy doing the job?
With a plan from HomeServe, call us. We'll send a contractor and there's no big bill.
Easy.
But don't wait. Get a plan from HomeServe before a line breaks.
Go online now.
Plans from HomeServe start at just $7.99 a month.
Call 1-833-743-6209 or visit homeserve.com.
Hi. It's that time of year again, the Medicare annual enrollment period. You might be thinking, why should I care? Well, if you're 65 or older or on Medicare, you should, because the annual enrollment period, which is right now, is when you can change your Medicare plan. And the annual enrollment period ends December 7th. So ask yourself, do you have the coverage you need? Are you getting all the things you want and need from your Medicare plan? Maybe you don't even know what kinds of things are available to you. That happens. Medicare can be confusing. Do you know about Medicare Part C plans, also called Medicare Advantage? A Part C plan could help you save money and include additional benefits. That sounds pretty good, right? But plans and benefits can be different based on the zip code you live in. And Medicare plans can change every year. Oh, and enrollment in a Part C plan is not automatic. This can all be a little overwhelming, so take a deep breath and call the number that is up on the screen now. With one phone call, you can get your questions answered and see if there are changes to your plan in the coming year, or if there's a 2025 Medicare Advantage plan available to you in your zip code with additional benefits or cost savings you didn't get last year. We'll put that number back up on the screen. You can call this number now for your free Medicare benefits checkup and speak to a licensed insurance agent who can see if you are eligible for a 2025 Medicare Advantage plan. But remember, the Medicare annual enrollment period is the time when you can change your Medicare plan. And the enrollment period ends December 7th. So call now, even if you called before. The call and Medicare benefits checkup are absolutely free, and there's no obligation. Make sure you have the coverage you need. Call 800-810-6379. That's 800-810-6379.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, ride your bike. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, smile big and bright.
Thousands of kids just like me are happy every day.
And it's all because of generous people like you who support Shriners Hospitals for Children every month.
All you have to do is call the number on your screen or go online to loveshriners.org right now with your monthly gift.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children is able to make an everyday miracle happen for kids like me. If you're happy and you know it, dance around. If you're happy and you know it, play a song.
If you're happy and you know it, and your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, take a shot.
And when you call or go online right now to donate $19 a month or more, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of all the smiles you're bringing to kids' faces every day.
Will today be the day you send your love to the rescue?
When you call the number on your screen right now and give as little as $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you'll be making a life-changing difference for a child, just like Sarah.
Your monthly gift today could change your life forever.
Because of you.
We are happy and we know it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please call or go online right now to give. If operators are busy, please wait patiently or go to loveshriners.org right away.
At Drive Time, you can do a lot right on your phone, like get approved, then start shopping thousands of cars with real terms, all with no hit to your credit in as little as 30 seconds. But this is a 15-second ad. It sure is. Go to drivetime.com and do a lot in not a lot of time.
When we made the switch to Coterie diapers, our baby started sleeping better through the night and we had way less diaper changes. The material is incredibly soft, thin, and luxurious. It feels like clothing. If you want the best of the best for your baby, try Coterie. You won't regret it.
Coming up next on True Crime Network.
The wife of Alexandria, Virginia's sheriff is murdered at her front door. 10 years later, a leader in city planning is killed in the same way, with the same ammunition, less than a mile from the first shooting. Police hold a news conference, hoping to catch the killer before they can strike again.
Obviously, we're here to discuss a very significant homicide in the city of Alexandria.
Little do they know, the killer already has a third victim in his sights. Ruth Ann Lodato is a piano teacher in Alexandria, whose home is less than a mile away from the location of the previous two shootings.
It was just a few months later, a similar situation, right in the middle of the day, broad daylight. Knock at the door. She opens the door.
Was it something personal about Ruth Ann that made her the third target? Or was she just in the wrong house at the wrong time?
Ruth Ann Lodato is from a very prominent family here in Alexandria. Her father was a judge, her brother was a judge. The family is extremely well known. She had a music school. Many young kids were part of this music school. So she was well known. The family was well known.
Her mother lives in a granny suite at the back of the house, and a home care worker, Janet, spends her time there.
Again, it was a very similar situation to the first two homicides, where apparently somebody knocked at the door, and when she answered, she was immediately shot. There was a witness at Ruth Ann Lodato's shooting, a woman who was a home health care aide.
The home care worker hears Ruth Ann scream and comes face to face with the killer.
Ruth Ann Lodato was shot 3 times, and then 2 more shots were fired in the direction of the home health care worker.
Janet is shot in the arm. But before the shooter can kill her, he runs out of bullets.
What Janet does next is nothing short of heroic.
Janet gets both Ruth Ann and her mother out of harm's way and has the neighbor call 911, despite being shot herself.
PD, police or medic?
Police.
Okay. What's going on there, sir?
The caregiver next door, caregiver to an elderly woman, just ran over and told me that there's an intruder in the house.
And she said someone came into the home. Are they still in the home? And where is the elderly lady?
She's on my arm right now. Take her to my arm.
Okay. Can you ask the young woman that works there, what is the address there to the house?
She just ran back over.
Why did you let her leave if someone was intruding into the home, sir?
The killer gets out of there once he runs out of bullets, but not before Janet, the home care worker, gets a good look at him.
Ruth Ann Lodato is shot twice in the chest and once in the arm. She will succumb to her wounds, but not before talking to the police.
Since witnesses have watched the killer leave the house, it rules out the possibility that he picked up the tiny spent shell casings. Also, they saw a little muzzle in his sleeve.
The police theory that the weapon is a mini revolver is locked in.
Ruth Ann also tells the police she didn't recognize the shooter's face. It was a stranger who knocked on her door.
Janet, the caregiver, survives the ordeal. Police now have an eyewitness who has seen the Alexandria assassin.
The eyewitness here was able to work with the police artist to create what they call this composite image, like an artist rendering of what the guy would look like. Piercing eyes, long white beard, disheveled hair. This was used to create the artist's rendering that went out to the public.
As police put together a composite sketch, they examined the bullets taken from Ruth Ann Lodato's body.
I'd never seen it in another shooting case in my 34 years with the laboratory. The same type of ammunition was used with a similar general rifling characteristic.
5 bullets are recovered at the scene of the third murder. The same type of .22 caliber hollow point subsonic long rifle bullets.
The same bullets at all 3 shootings. The same MO. The same area in Alexandria. Ballistics will tell us if the bullets were fired from the same gun.
The general rifling characteristics on the bullets were similar. 8 lands and grooves with a right twist. The width of the lands and grooves matched those width of the lands and grooves in the first 2 homicides. But again, the microscopic markings were different. I was very comfortable assuming that they were all related, but I was very surprised that I could not associate the firearms between each shooting.
While law enforcement know a 5-shot mini revolver is used, the evidence suggests it is a different mini revolver each time.
A very important piece of this crime scene was the surveillance footage of an automobile fleeing the scene.
Several neighbors of Ruth Ann Lodato have security cameras, which capture a suspicious vehicle driving quickly out of the neighborhood moments after Ruth Ann is shot.
The first murder happened in 2003. Now we're into 2014. People have all of these surveillance cameras everywhere these days. And so there was one of the neighboring houses to Ruth Ann Lodato had 2 cameras that caught the automobile fleeing the scene. And so that actually ended up being a key piece of evidence in the case. The artist rendering of what this guy looked like, according to the eyewitness to the murder of Ruth Ann Lodato, goes out to the community. We publish it in the newspaper. It's all over television. And so a lot of people say, yeah, I know that guy. So the police interviewed the guy at issue, and it turned out that he was not the murderer.
But the suspect points a finger at another man who fits their profile, a man named Charles Severance. Charles Severance is a local man who has run for mayor of Alexandria twice as an independent.
The 71st mayor of Alexandria must advocate tax breaks for business and support labor by doing the following. Eliminate local tax on transit lodging. Eliminate local tax on restaurant food.
Severance's political career would certainly draw attention. On the campaign trail, his behavior has been erratic.
And make the following expenditure decreases. Terminate Human Relations Department.
He wears this black getup and talks about how child psychologists are terrorizing the city.
Cut mental health general fund. Terminate mental retardation residential group homes. I believe these measures, if taken, will improve the city of Alexandria.
In the 1996 mayoral election, he finished second. There were only 2 candidates.
And that's all I have to say right now.
Police add the name of Charles Severance to a list of possible leads to investigate. Police discover a curious connection to the 2003 murder of Nancy Dunning.
There's the surveillance footage from Target the day that Nancy Dunning was murdered
Security video at the department store shows a man in a black jacket and widow's peak.
They've got surveillance footage of someone who looks like Charles Severance, circa 2003.
The man follows Nancy as she shops for Christmas gifts. He stops and pretends to tie his shoe, and then follows Nancy through the store.
The security camera footage from Target actually shows the serial killer following her around the Target while she was there.
He doesn't shop for anything himself. He follows Nancy right out of the store.
And then she went home, and the serial killer clearly followed her to her house.
The security footage is low quality, but detectives matched the distinctive widow's peak and black leather jacket to a photo of Charles Severance from 2003. Police try to locate Charles Severance through his girlfriend, but come up empty.
At this point, leads are coming in from everywhere. Police need to make a bold move to catch their suspect.
Concerned that the killer may strike again, Alexandria's chief of police notifies the media that they believe the 3 murders to be linked.
This is a gamble. Police know that this announcement is going to cause panic as it confirms suspicions that many people have had in DC.
Like, this is a serial murder on the loose. So, yeah, there was a intense community reaction to this.
By telling everyone about the unusual ammunition, they're hoping that someone will come forward with more information.
The day after police announce there's a serial murderer at large in Alexandria, they receive a tip from an unlikely place, the Russian embassy.
You okay? Yeah, I'm just tired. They changed my Medicare Advantage plan, so I've been trying to find a new one, and it's so much work.
Don't do it yourself. Call GoHealth.
GoHealth?
Yeah, GoHealth. They take your information, they do the research, they compare plans, then they recommend the plan that best meets your needs.
Really?
GoHealth found me a plan with prescription drug coverage, vision care, dental care, preventative care services, plus extra benefits that cost me less than my old plan.
That sounds perfect.
And the service is free.
Here's how we've helped over 10 million Americans shop for the Medicare plan that's right for them. First, we listen to learn what your needs and priorities are. Then, using our proprietary PlanFit technology, we compare your needs to the features and benefits of some of the top Medicare carriers in America, like Cigna Healthcare, Humana, United Healthcare, and WellCare, to find the best plan for you and your budget. Whether you're looking for a plan with prescription and more, GoHealth will find the plan that's right for you at a price you can afford.
I'm calling.
If you're trying to get the most bang for your buck, looking for a new plan, or new to Medicare, GoHealth can help. The call is free. Our service is free. There's no risk and no obligation. Get the right Medicare Advantage plan for you at a price you can afford.
Call 800-813-7317 or go to GoHealth.com now. That's 800-813-7317 or go to GoHealth.com now. Don't do it yourself. Call GoHealth.
If you want faster home internet that's built for rural America, meet the next generation of HughesNet.
Hi!
Now you can do it all. Connect, stream, and play, wherever you live.
Now you can shop till you drop, because your internet won't.
Now I can video conference with confidence.
HughesNet is Jupiter powered, with faster speeds than ever before, and unlimited data.
Now I can stream up anything I can dream up.
That's right.
And the HughesNet Fusion plan combines satellite and wireless technologies for a faster, more responsive internet experience.
How? There's no shame in my game.
Oh, game on.
HughesNet is now better than ever.
Nice.
Call today to get free professional installation and save $25 a month for 12 months.
This changes everything.
Yes, it does.
Now it's your chance to get HughesNet. Call 1-800-617-7624.
They were gunned down.
This is a stone cold killer.
Now, determined detectives will have to trace the ballistics to track down their shooter.
We are all hands on deck.
Targeted for murder. Next on True Crime Network.
March 2014. The greater Washington, D.C. area is rocked when Alexandria police confirm their fears. 3 seemingly random murders are linked. The day after police appealed to the public for help locating a serial killer, Charles Severance rides his bike to the Russian embassy. Claiming political persecution by the city of Alexandria, Severance seeks asylum from Russia by sneaking into the compound, but U.S. Secret Service agents turn him away.
They ask him questions and take his picture, but they don't have anything to charge him with, so they have to let him leave on his bike. But out of curiosity, they follow him.
The agent identifies Severance from his passport and remembers the composite image of the Alexandria assassin, along with a description of the suspicious vehicle caught fleeing from the scene of Ruthann Ladato's murder.
If they had been able to search his vehicle here, who knows what they would have found.
The Secret Service files a report with Alexandria police, and the focus of the investigation turns to Charles Severance.
Charles Severance was a guy who's from Northern Virginia. He went to George Mason University here in the region, went to UVA, University of Virginia, down in Charlottesville. So kind of a local guy and very well educated, worked as an engineer.
Severance also designs his own anti-establishment games. He runs a website called Mental Disorder where he tries to sell them.
He had a short-lived relationship with this woman, and they had a child. There was a custody dispute over the child. The court came to the conclusion that the child needed to be separated and to essentially never see the father again.
Severance also has a felony gun possession charge on his record, which means he can't buy or possess a firearm.
As a result of that gun possession charge, it was actually illegal for him to own a firearm or be in possession of ammunition.
Charles Severance is a highly unusual man. He's spooked, which is why he sought asylum in the first place. He knows from his girlfriend that the police are looking for him, so he takes off.
Severance's girlfriend tells police he had gone camping. They search the home and bring her in for questioning.
Linda tells police that in 2011, Charles insisted that she get guns for her own protection. 2 5-shot mini revolvers and a box of .22 caliber subsonic ammunition.
When police search the home, they find guns, but no 5-shot mini revolver. They do find a box of .22 subsonic ammunition. Police scour the Metro Washington area on the lookout for Severance's vehicle with the warrant for his arrest. Finally, on March 12, 2014, Severance's debit card is used at a hotel in Wheeling, West Virginia. Police are sent surveillance footage of Severance checking into the hotel. He's dressed the same as he was at the Russian embassy. Police spot his bike outside of a nearby library.
Severance used the internet to plan his escape from the area. He was about to disappear forever when police finally tracked him down.
Severance's car, the same car that's caught on surveillance footage outside of Ruthann Ladato's home, is found in a hotel parking lot. Police execute the search warrant, but what they do find comes as a shock.
There's no gun here, no ammunition, but there is a gun cleaning kit and a bunch of latex gloves. There's a black jacket, and they would discover what has become known as Severance's Manifesto of Hate.
Police find journals that Severance keeps, which detail his rage at what he feels is an elite that has taken his son from him. There are hundreds of pages detailing Severance's rage at the police, court system, city of Alexandria, and belief in violence.
He recounted his innermost thoughts about the court system and his grudge against the court system and how he blamed Alexandria society for being separated from his child. Violent thoughts about murder and doing harm to people who he felt had wronged him, the writings of a violent, deranged man.
Severance calls himself a noble savage, chopping out a homestead in the backwoods of America. I guess everyone's the hero of their own story? But unfortunately, there's nothing in his journals that identifies the murder victims.
The search of Severance's car yields several pieces of evidence, but there's no smoking gun.
More circumstantial evidence. There's no murder weapon here, no fingerprints or DNA, so they can't place him at a murder scene. Charging him with the crime would be a big risk.
They were actually holding him on this firearms charge while they put together their
Kissy milk chocolate.
It was just like a stalling move that the prosecutors were using to keep him behind bars so that they could put together their murder charge against him. The prosecutors actually had a difficult decision to make because they could have done 3 separate murder trials. They decided to put them all together and try them as a triple murder case, which was a gamble because you're putting all of your eggs in one basket there. So if you don't get the jury to go with the triple murder case, then you've lost because you can't do double jeopardy. So it was a gamble.
With rumors and speculation ripping through Alexandria, prosecutors decide it's a gamble they have to take.
Carl Severance was charged with first-degree murder for Nancy